When I first thought about creating House of Mind, I think I was really taken by the idea of performance in an environment. Creating a piece, instead of creating something in the studio and then touring it to a theater, I really wanted to create something in an entire environment and make that environment. The process of creating House of Mind was amazing because I really wanted to create this environment. I wasn't really sure, I wanted to have these happenstance performative elements in it, but I wasn't really sure I was going to make a dancey dance to put in there. And in the middle of fundraising and doing the project, my mom was diagnosed with Alzheimer's or memory loss problems. And so I was just thinking about memory, and a lot of my work has been about memory, actually. A lot of the dance work has been about memory. And so we started building House of Mind, which was much bigger than any of us thought it would be. I had wanted to make this thing out of buttons. I've been really fascinated for a long time of trying to just make things with my hands and make things that take a tremendous amount of labor. They're very labor intensive, and they involve people from the community working on them, because you know what, you can't do it all yourself. People sitting together and talking. And we had people who were ex-offenders. I work in the prison system as well, and I've been doing that for 17 years. So a lot of the women who've gotten out came in, people from Amazon came in, and my neighbors came in with all their kids, and they helped paint everything, and they did buttoning, and it was wild and fantastic. It's the closest marriage of vision to the kind of work I want to create now that I've done, well, in my life, really. It's the closest. It has so many elements because I really was thinking about memory and what you can do on a stage, which is wonderful but very limited. And so I wanted sensory input as well. So there's smells and there's sounds and there's visual stuff and there's tactile things, and it's really meant to be an experiential work. I really think that there's a sensibility of walking through an environment which is familiar to me in some way, or home-like, or has a lot of images that are re-stimming to me of certain things. And that's really important to me. It's important that there's like a house set in the middle of the piece. We're in a place right now with a miniature wall, and there's a couch, and there's tables and lamps and things like that. You know, people have stories, and people have visual ideas whether or not they recognize them. I don't know if they really recognize them, but I think that everyone lives in a world of their own making, and how they organize thoughts and how they walk through the space and how that coincides with their own neurological makeup is how we see the world and how we identify beauty and how we identify who we are in that world and how we see ourselves. So, you know, I believe that people can relate to it very well. We have a key wall out there, and that's so cool because I wanted to have this wall of keys, and I didn't really know why. And now I know that people are bringing in their own keys and writing stories about where the keys came from, or actually just making up a story about the key. But again, there's a way, people are marking this space as their own. The community will have a part, and kind of a large part actually, in marking the space. And I think in our culture, we don't have a place for being present. We always have to be distracted and figure out what we're doing next. Let's get that message, or let's get this. And sometimes just shutting down, like in that way, House of Mind is a sacred space. It's a space to contain my memories, but also other people's memories, without having to tell what they are or explain them. It's just people's stories and memories.